to file a lawsuit. So we are working on it.
And a suspect in the Ablikima Central Collation Center shooting charged to appear before a court this week.
The preliminary charges against the suspect use of offensive weapon and then causing harm. The suspect, he was granted bail at the police station to appear before court.
Meanwhile, Newswatch.com journalist in stable condition at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital after suffering broken bone injuries from that shooting.
We understand that metallic equipment have been placed into his leg to support the healing process. So the surgery from the medical team shows that he was quite successful, and we are hoping and praying that he recovers fully.
And in business, possible slim majority for ruling government to rather be beneficial to the economy. We hear from economist Professor Ababu on this.
And later in sport, head coach of the Black Satellites, Abdul Karim Zito, insists his team is under pressure to beat Niger in the semi-final of the ongoing Wafu Zombi Cup of Nations.
And much later, the rapper who is attracting the youth to political issues with his rap music. More from Amirado later in the bulletin.
This week, election. Now, you get the sound of erection. Parties are who were contesting. And everybody was preventing. And that's the declares NPP. Now, my JM, then the fancy. All
right, so Emefa, that's Amirado.
Not Amirado.
Not Amirado.
Okay, I'm ruffalizing it.
That's fine. we thank our producers.
Yeah. Please join us with your thoughts and comments. It's via WhatsApp on 055 11 997.
My name is Ernest.
I am Emefa Apawu. And this is your election headquarters, and it's in association with Petrosol. Clean fuel in full quantity. Cowbell coffee. Taste it, love it. McDan Shipping and Logistics Limited, your total logistics partner. Padeva Limited, your home of modern furniture. DDP Outdoor Limited, 7 great brands. Festiva, adding flavors to your life. Otriye Lotteries, star 787 hash, Ghana's premier and biggest jackpot lottery, and HEPA Plus mixture for your general well-being.
And on the election headquarters today, Majority Leader Osei Bonsu has confirmed the NPP has begun engaging the former MP Andrew Amwakwesiama to join the NPP side in the House in the next Parliament. He also claims the NDC side has started engaging him. Now, Mr. Mensah Bonsu, in an interview with John News, dismisses concerns of a hung parliament from next year. He insists there will surely be a majority, and that will be from the NPP side.
It's not a hung. We have an odd number parliament. It cannot be a hung parliament. There will always be a majority.
But if there's an independent, and it's 137, 137.
The independent will associate with one side or the other of the house. There are only 2 caucuses, majority, minority. Independent, by the construct of our parliament, will be required to work with one side or the other of the party, of the caucus. So there can't be a hung parliament in Ghana.
Is Andrew Amwakwesiama joining your side of the House as the majority, the NPP side,
from what he's gathered
so far? Has the conversation with him happened yet?
He will decide.
But at least are you speaking to him, trying to get
an engagement by both sides.
Oh, really? Even the minority think that they'll be able to get him. But I remain confident that your side will eventually get him.
He decides. Don't lead me into temptation.
Maybe the negotiation is probably proving difficult already, is it? There are reports about some demands he's making on the party and all.
I don't know of that. I don't know of that.
And so in terms of working together, what can we expect as a level?
If you want to engage anybody, the person that you are seeking engagement with will have his or her own terms. Just that. So whoever is engaging, I believe he will raise issues about terms of engagement. That's it.
Will you be ready to fulfill whatever terms he gives you? There's been speculations about his campaign being paid for, probably him being given deputy speakership.
You are telling me. I don't know of that.
Well, that interaction with the majority leader, Osei Mensah Bonsu, with my colleague Joseph Opoku-Gakpo, will head to him shortly. But meanwhile, government has rejected predictions that the reduction in its seats in Parliament at the December polls will significantly affect its efficiency in governance. Listen to the Information Minister, Kojo Nkrumah.
If you have a parliament in which the majority has about 138 or 139, by the time the seats we are challenging, 139, 140 are done. It's not the same as having 169, 106. People of Ghana have sent a message to the two leading political parties that there's a need to work together. That means that a lot more middle ground has to be found on the various things that government intends to. At the end of the day, we are supposed to be in this business in the interest of the people of Ghana. So if the executive is committed, the majority is committed, we believe that the minority will also or ought also to be committed to doing business that helps to push the republic forward. Indeed, in Parliament, for those of you who cover Parliament, a lot of the times, 90% of the times, we don't disagree on matters. Business comes to the House, is referred to committees, committee reports come, they are approved. Rarely, one or two issues, then you would find that there's a major debate or a split, and then maybe you have a walkout or something. But if you list the business of the House, you find that it's on rare matters that there's division. And the message is clear that even on those rare matters, we need to work towards some compromise. We look forward to working together as we've done in times past, but with a lot more compromise to achieve what's in the best interest of the Republic.
So that's the Minister for Information, Kojo Oppong-Nkrumah, interacting with the media. Parliamentary correspondent Joseph Opoku-Gatto joins us in the studio. Joseph, earlier today, the Majority Leader, Osei Mensah Bonsu, questioned the basis for which the NDC is claiming it won the December 7 elections. We know they've disputed the results.
You know, today when the sitting eventually resumed, after about a little over a month's break that the House had gone on, there were welcome addresses from the Speaker, Professor Michael Kwe, as well as the leadership of the House, the Speaker urging MPs to sit up and get the work done because they have a tall pile of business that they need to deal with between now and when the House goes on its Christmas break. The minority leader in his address reiterated that the NDC is rejecting the outcome of the December elections, and he indicated that they think the EC committed unacceptable errors going forward, which is why they are rejecting the results.
We have to visit one or two bereaved families arising out of shooting which resulted in loss of life. That remains a negative blot on the conscience of our democracy. To choose our leaders, lives should not be lost and lost needlessly. There are still contested outcomes in some other constituencies across the country in Senate. What we expect is that justice be done. I have said that collation and aggregation of votes, CI 127 passed by this House, is elaborate. For instance, in Techima, Regulation 43 provides how aggregation is done and how declaration is done. We expect that to be respected. So we in the NDC, we still have some dark clouds against what has been declared by the chairperson of the Electoral Commission. Her arithmetic, when you work out, give you 100.295%. That arithmetic error is not acceptable to us.
And so that's the minority leader, Haruna Idrisu, there on the floor of the House, Joseph.
Essentially making the point that the EC made errors which are pardonable, which is why they are rejecting the result. And then you got a response from the
majority leader,
Osei Mensah Bonsu, who argued that he said he didn't want to deal with the matter at all because it's early days yet, except to say that the NDC doesn't even have the list of all the pink sheets, so he doesn't see the basis for which they are questioning the results that were put out by the EC.
So I'm not going to make much remarks, except to say that for a political party that insists that it's won elections, you should have in your hands the pink sheets. But if you don't have pink sheets and it's not that we have sent emissaries out there to collect and gather pink sheets, on what basis do you declare yourselves as winners? We are not there yet. So I'll not make further comments on that. There are people who want to really stand on the foundation of truth should be equipped with the elements of truthfulness before they make proclamations. Because if you don't have a patience, you cannot make any allusions.
And so you had that the majority leader, Osei Mensah Bonsu, but Joseph is still with us. Joseph, a lot happened in Parliament today, being the first day of sitting after the break and, of course, after the election. I noticed that a number of the minority MPs were in black.
Exactly.
And red, yes.
So mainly, either someone is in a fugu which has red and black stripes, or a black attire as if they're going for a funeral, and a number of them had red armbands on their hand. Essentially, to quote Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, the MP for North Tongue, they are mourning the death of Ghana's democracy, and they are additionally mourning the individuals who lost their lives in the course of the election. There are about 5 people, and in the course of that, they see that as a form of protest as far as the outcome of the elections are concerned. And then Mr. Ablakwa makes the point that they reserve the right to take all other actions, including the suggestion that they go to court, but until now they're continuing their protest, which is why they were wearing black today, even as they showed up on the floor of the House.
And then if I say that from now to the next parliament, a lot will happen, and it's a place to watch, really.
Well, but I'm also interested in the losing MPs, in number of them. 33 on the side of the NPP, 15 or so.
Over 100 of them altogether.
Well, so
that's a tallying of those who lost
and those who retired.
This particular election, those who had lost their primaries, and additionally those who are going ahead to retire. That's in the region of about 120, well, actually 112 of them.
Okay.
When you put that entire tally together.
You had some of them coming to Parliament today. What's
Exactly,
their reaction?
exactly. And in fact, for example, Boniface Abubakar Sadiq, he was in Parliament today. He lost in Medina. He makes the point that he thought that there are a few issues with the processes that led to his loss, which he looked forward to dealing with subsequently, and was actually urging the NDC to do same, that they use the right processes to do that. And funny enough, there were some of the MPs who came around, while a lot of the minority guys were in black, a lot of the majority guys were in white. Including some of those who had actually lost their seats just a few days ago, signifying victory to a certain extent. And for example, a lot of the majority MPs, Esla Usu, of course, she retained her seat, and a number of others were present in the House wearing white. The attendance wasn't very much impressive as people would have hoped for. But of course, that's what is happening around this time. Things will most likely be different when a more close parliament is seen going into the year.
And the issue of Dr. Okuboy, for instance, has come up strongly, trending on social media this morning, mid-morning thereabouts, when he posted on his Facebook wall that he had reported to the Lekma Hospital. Within 58 minutes, the post had 5K shares, that's 5,000 likes, and over 700 shares, and millions of comments.
Wasn't anyone asking? Didn't anyone ask why he wasn't in Parliament? And he chose that.
Exactly. I'm coming to the point.
Go to the hospital.
So I'm coming to the point. I know he was at post today to attend to the people, his constituents. Was he in Parliament today?
No, I didn't set eyes on him in the course of the day today. Probably he was focusing on the other bit. And Parliament actually allows that. There's a committee that oversees a request from MPs that they would want to do other activities beyond working as members of Parliament. And when you put in a request and the committee approves, you can do side businesses apart from having to.
And the bit about the Fomena MP, I know he granted you an interview and said he was going to win for the party, that's the NPP, even though he was sacked. How is the NDC engaging him?
So that is something actually that we had heard a few days ago, just about a day or two after the election itself, that apart from the majority side, the minority guys were also making moves. And Mr. Chairman Sabunsu made that point today, that that effort is ongoing. It's almost 100% clear that he wouldn't lean on the side of the minority. But of course, in politics, anything is possible. You rule out nothing. You attempt the things you think are possible, and for all you know, that may end up being the result. But it's almost crystal clear he would rather lean on the side of the NPP going
But he
forward.
told you emphatically that
he was
winning
for
the party.
He said he was winning the seat for the NPP. And more emphatically, which is what I found interesting, he said, mark my words, I'll be in the next parliament.
Of course,
and
I'll be.
And there he is.
Well, but let's briefly talk about the business of this particular session, though. Do we know what exactly are they going to be engaging in before the next inauguration?
So the House is dealing with an insurance bill that would help better manage the insurance sector going forward. That is something that they paid quite some attention to in the course of the day today. There are a number of other items on the agenda, including having to get out the public-private partnership bill, which is also something that the House is still looking at. The anti-money laundering bill is also one of the items that the House is going to deal with. And the majority leader disclosed today that, the president is supposed to deliver to Parliament his final State of the Nation address before he eventually steps down. Well, the majority leader explained that between now and somewhere around 22nd December, when the House is going on break, the president wouldn't be able to come speak to the House. So the plan is that between the 3rd and the 5th of January, after the Christmas break, the provision will be made for the House to continue sitting, so the president delivers that final State of the Nation address before the House holds its final sitting on the 6th of January to make way for the 8th Parliament on the 7th of January 2020.
Thank you very much,
Thank you very much,
Joseph.
Joseph.
Like Ernest said, Parliament is a place to watch, and we'll definitely be with you throughout.
Be my
it.
guest.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joseph. And Emefa, the EC, the Electoral Commission, has issued a statement. Bring us up to speed on that.
It's giving us an update on the 2020 parliamentary election. A number of statements we received from the Electoral Commission today, also dismissing claims about the arrest of an Eastern Regional EC officer. They state that that is not true. But this particular one is an update on the parliamentary elections, and it says they're informing us about the number of parliamentarians, elected. So it says that the Electoral Commission wishes to inform the general public that following the 2020 presidential and parliamentary elections held on 7 December, 273 parliamentary seats have been declared in favor of the New Patriotic Party, the National Democratic Congress, and one independent candidate as follows: NPP, 137 parliamentary seats; NDC, 136 parliamentary seats; Independent, 1 parliamentary seat. And it adds that the Senate West parliamentary election is yet to be finalized and the outcome declared. The Commission assures the general public that it is working to finalize the issues regarding the Senate West constituency to enable the transparent, fair, credible, and peaceful conclusion of the process. We expect to bring finality to this issue within the shortest possible time. Additionally, the Electoral Commission is aware of contests to some parliamentary seats by both the New Patriotic Party and the National Democratic Congress in a number of constituencies. We entreat the political parties to use the laid down processes established by law to seek redress to their concerns. And that's the Electoral Commission.
So, if you could just go over the figures again for the parliamentary, for the majority and the minority.
Okay, so for the MPP, they have 137 parliamentary seats. NPP, 137 parliamentary seats. NDC, 136 parliamentary seats. And Independent, 1 parliamentary seat. That's according to the Electoral Commission.
And you're listening to Newsnight here on Joy 99.7 FM. And this is your election headquarters. And the opposition, NDC, has revealed it will soon demand a forensic audit of the 2020 presidential and parliamentary election results as it prepares to challenge the outcome of the polls. The leadership of the party has described the Electoral Commission's results as a stolen verdict and has indicated it will exercise all options for redress. Now, they have so far shied away from discussing its legal options, but speaking on Prime Morning on the Joy Prime channel, Member of Parliament for Tamale Central, Ernest said the party will demand a forensic audit of the election. Listen.
If the candidate comes to the collation center and the results do not reflect, or there is a difference between what they have collated independent of the Electoral Commission, then they now challenge the Electoral Commission. I don't think that this is the outcome of our elections. From the pictures that you give to our agents, this is what we got. How did you arrive at this figure? And then, regionally, we collate the results. So each constituency, the northern region has 18 constituencies. So each constituency must account. And the votes of each constituency must reflect what was declared. What I'm trying to explain to you is forensic audit.
Those are provided for in all legal proceedings, which is what was laid out ahead of time.
Well, those are provided. But yes, I'm saying that in court we will demand a forensic audit.
Okay.
But I'm saying that we could have prevented this.
You granted an interview, you mentioned that you believe John Mahama should form a parallel government. Why?
The idea is not new. I mean, if you go and read Apia Kente's book, River in the Sea, I mean, when they lost the 1992 elections, MPP contemplated forming, Adubo Hill contemplated declaring himself president and forming a parallel government. They had even secured premises in Cote d'Ivoire.
But
the idea is not totally new. But
he did not.
But he did not. But who says NDC is going to? Who says NDC is going to? I mean, that's just a feeling I expressed, that's a view I expressed. That view is not original. That in 1992, that view was expressed by no less a person that, Apia Kenten, who was a lawyer, industrialist, entrepreneur, politician. He wrote it in his book, the Rivers in the Sun, I can say that I got the first idea that that
someone can do that. Isn't it a threat to our peace?
Well, so that is a view. First of all, let's understand that the view is not original. No one says that NDC is going to carry to the threat of former parallel government. But that was a view that was expressed then. That's the view that I've expressed now. Okay? Now, is it a threat to our peace? It could be. In that book, they said, the appeal content said it could lead to civil unrest. Yes, so now too, if that thing is done, it could lead to civil unrest. So you must contemplate that.
That's Tamale Central MP Inusa Fuseni there speaking to my colleague Daniel Datsi. Now, the NDC in the Techiman South constituency are lamenting the impediment in its effort to get officials of the Electoral Commission take delivery of their petition against the declaration of that parliamentary result. Leadership of the NDC, including the minority leader Haruna Idrisu, stormed the EC's offices in the Techiman South constituency to demand copies of the pink sheets and collation sheets used to declare the NPP's candidate Martin J. Mensah Kosa as member of Parliament elect for the area. First, listen to Haruna Idrisu, who believes the EC manipulated figures to favour the governing NPP.
I'm challenging the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, the regional EC director for Bunu East, and the returning officer for Techima to make public whatever results they have so declared in respect of Techima South. We demand that in the name of transparency. Let them make public any results that they have. Then we know what was it that the NPP obtained against the NDC or the NDC against the NPP. We simply cannot find that. So it means that it's open daylight robbery and disrespect of the laws of Ghana.
You heard that the minority leader Haruna Idrisu. Now, since their demands, the party EC officials at the constituency have abandoned their post. Communications officer of the constituency, Alhaji Isa Mahmood Ali Tanko, tells Joy News the party is searching for the EC officials to hand over a petition against the declaration of Martin J. Mensah Kosa as the MP elect for the area. He spoke to my colleague, Kwesi Parker Wilson.
In currently Techiman, there has been a lot of tension based on the information the Electoral Commission is giving the whole world, which is a probable lie. It's lying to the whole nation. The reason is that you can't use A4 sheets to declare a result in the 21st century. You can't do that. So the information you got, is it the day before yesterday or yesterday? The information from the minority leader, Honorable Haruna Idrisu, is the truth. But currently, we are sending a petition to the Electoral Commission. Today is Monday, and Electoral Commission office has been locked since morning. We are searching for the EC officer, and then the returning officer, and then the workers of Electoral Commission in Techiman Municipal, and they are nowhere to be found. And then they have set a lot of policemen and then military around all over in Techiman. Since we are fighting.
You said you were going to petition them, but they were not there. What's contained in the petition, sir?
What we are saying is that because our lawyers came here the day before yesterday, asking the returning officer to produce the sheet that he used to declare a result, of which all of us we are not aware. And he just agreed to that, the fact that he is not using that sheet to declare that result. We are now asking the EC to come back again to declare the result, the proper result for the whole country to know that this election which the EC is conducted in Techiman Municipal, Honorable Christopher Basonti Bayere has become a victorious of the day. This is what we are asking from the EC.
Well, I'm sure you have contact to the EC officials and the returning officer and all of that. Have you called them?
The funny thing is, we have called him and he's not picking a call. Later on, he off the phone. We are there to record, and it went through, and he couldn't take. Later on, the phone has been off again. So we are there to wait for them to come and receive the petition, so that we can see the way forward.
That's the NDC's communications officer for the Techiman South constituency, Alhaji Issa Mahamudu Ali Tanko, there interacting with my colleague Kwesi Parker-Wilson.
And a number of seats are still being contested, especially by the NDC. The Sikado Ketan constituency is also under scrutiny. The Western region, the parliamentary candidate for the area, Dr. Grace Ayensu, has said that she would legally challenge the declaration of Joe Garte as MP-elect for the area. According to her, she made several complaints to the Electoral Commission and they did not listen. They went ahead to declare Joe Garte and they believe the election was rigged for him. That's why they think that they would have to challenge that seat.
Well, I would challenge it to whatever the logical conclusion is. So today, I think some of the concerned citizens sent a petition to the EC, and we are working on finishing the evidence to file a lawsuit. So we are working on it.
But how soon would that be, the suit against, to challenge the result? How soon would that be?
As soon as we are done, which will be soon.
But the EC has declared your opponent, Joe Garte, the winner of this election.
Yeah,
you're not satisfied?
EC should not have declared since we didn't do a proper collation. My pink sheets were not considered during the collation. We were intimidated. We were gunshots were fired at the polling station, at the collation center. We were pepper sprayed. We were shot at. We were whipped at the collation center, and we had about 20 or more armed militia there. And it was more like a war zone than it was just a collation center. And so because of all that and because they didn't even look at our pink sheets to verify our figures versus his figures, and they went ahead and declared him the winner without us even signing the document.
That's Grace Ayensu. She's a NDC parliamentary candidate for Esikado Ketan. Now, Joy News is learning that Power FM presenter Heneba Boama has been charged with offensive conduct and publication of false news. The Criminal Investigations Department of the Ghana Police Service, in a statement, accused the broadcaster of insulting and issuing series of threats to President Akufo-Addo. Some sympathizers of the party, the opposition NDC, picketed earlier at the police CID and had this to say.
Oh, they said you said something against Akufo-Addo. Akufo-Addo is not the president. He said something against Akufo-Addo. But we are in Ghana here. We go back. Every people they be insulting Mahama, President Mahama. But they don't call them. They don't send the police. We are here to support Ohiniba, but to leave for Ohiniba for us. We are Ghana here. President Mahama. President Mahama. They be speaking against him. They be insulting him. 2012 to 2016. But you don't say anything. But today you know that Western was speaking against President.
The concern is that last Wednesday we heard our brother saying, what am I saying, a journalist from Power FM, saying that the declaration is wrong.
Well, some NDC supporters there earlier at the police CID. Thankfully, we've been joined by a lawyer for that journalist, lawyer Kojuga Adawudu. Thank you very much for your time here on Newsnight. So what exactly is the situation? But first off, confirm to us what your client is being charged with.
Good evening, Emefa, and good evening to your cherished listeners. Emefa, my client is being investigated under the provision of Section 207 for offensive conduct and also Section 208 for publication of false news. What news is false, we are yet to know the news that is false, is not true, and what conduct amounts to offensive conduct, we are yet to be told.
And that did not come up at the interrogation today because he was invited. I know you were there at the police CID. Didn't you see clarity to this particular charge that your client has been slapped with?
Emefa, they show that some videos, and that video, if I listen clearly, it is all on the issue of the election, how people are being killed, people are being maimed, and how the election is being they are being robbed. He's expressing a view, his sentiments about what happened about this election. You can clearly see that the election was a matter that it was peaceful. It is only when it got to collation and leveraged on few seats to be declared, that is when everything went haywire. They started shooting people, declaring without going through the proper process. So I think these are the issues that were on the video. There was an audio, and it was played, and he told him he knows nothing about that audio, and they said they should take his statement. And he made a statement that he's a citizen, he's entitled to free speech and his views. And that's how he did. And he was going to exercise his constitutional right to keep quiet. So we finished. We were sitting there. The top echelon of the police, the CID, were not there. They left us. We were sitting. And we said, the law says when we finish this process, it's either you give us bail or you tell us that you are denying the bail. You don't come and keep us here. We sit here telling us nothing, and you think we just come and you treat us with contempt, that you treat us abysmally.
So as we speak, lawyer Kojoga Adawodu, where is your client, Mr. Boama? Are you still at the police CID? What exactly have you been told?
What happened was that he was whisked away after we had a hectic argument with them. And it was later they were telling, because we asked them, where are you taking him? Just tell us in plain language, we are going to point A or B so that we can follow and we know where he's going. If you are going to do a search and they refused, they won't tell us where they were going. Until when it became so heated, then they said they are going to Central. So our belief is that he's gone to Central, and my colleague, the MP left for Medina, Sosu, has gone to Central, and he said he's at the striking force. So he's being detained there.
So he's been denied bail as it stands now, because I'm sure you've made effort to get him bail.
They didn't even tell us that they won't even give us bail. They only said they were taking him somewhere, and we realized that he's been sent there. So
what then happens?
We would go and ask for the bail. The police had the right to give us bail within 48 hours. If they refuse and deny him, after 48 hours, we will go to court and ask that he should be granted bail.
Okay.
They cannot keep him after 48 hours.
But how long was the interrogation process?
Oh, when he said he did not know anything, he said he was going to keep quiet. So there was no interrogation. It was a very short process.
Well, we'll follow this closely. Thank you very much for speaking to us. That's lawyer Victor Kojoga Adawodu. He's a lawyer for Power FM presenter Oheneba Boama. Thankfully, we can also speak to the public relations officer for the police CID, DSP Juliana Obey. Thank you very much for your time here on Newsnight, DSP. So what exactly is the situation? You've just heard lawyers for Mr. Boama saying that he was whisked away at some point. Then they were told he's at the Central Police Station. He has not been granted bail. We do not know what exactly the situation is. What's the police account of all this issue?
Well, good evening, and good evening to your listeners. What I do know is official is that we sent an invitation to Mr. Oheneba Boama, who is a radio presenter with FM here in Accra. And he honored the invitation today, this morning. When he came to the CID headquarters, he was arrested. He has been questioned on Section 207 and 208, which is offensive conduct conducive to breaches of the peace and publication of false news. As we speak, he is in police custody, assisting with investigation.
But let me just seek a quick clarity. He's been cautioned or he's been charged, and we are told that he's being kept in your custody as we speak, and the lawyers are not clear as to when exactly he'll be granted bail or what exactly the situation is. So please give us the clarity.
What it is that he has not been charged, but he has been cautioned on the offenses that I have mentioned earlier on.
So then what happens? Because we are told he's still in your custody. If he's been cautioned, what's the next way forward?
Indeed, he's been cautioned. He is still in our custody. What I am told and what I do know is that investigations continue. Within 48 hours, if there's a need for bail from the police, he would be granted. If it has to be taken to court, I think that will be to court as well. But what I do know for now is that he is presently in police custody as concerned with the investigation.
But what's his status as we speak?
You might have to explain that to me.
I'm asking about his status because his lawyers say that he was whisked away at some point to the central. Then we are told about the striking force. So I'm just asking, since he's in your custody, are you able to tell us his condition and his status?
I do know that he is in our custody for some reasons, obviously for security reasons. I'm not able to speak on air on this issue about exactly where he is. But I do know that he is fine wherever he is.
But I'm wondering what the security concerns will be if you tell us about his status, because the lawyers have told us that they were told that they were taking him to the central, and we're also hearing about the striking force. So I'm not sure about the security concerns you talk about when you have to tell us about his status.
Those are his lawyers, and they are speaking on his behalf. I am speaking for the Criminal Investigations Department, and that's the official position.
And you are not able to tell us where he's being kept currently?
For now, I am not able to tell you that or share that information with you.
And because it's a national security concern?
Because it is a national security concern. Thank you.
We are grateful. That's the public relations officer for the police CID, DSP Juliana Obing there, speaking to us on the status of the Power FM presenter, Oheneba Buama, that's currently in the custody of the police. She tells us that he's been cautioned on Section 207, offensive conduct, and Section 208, publication of false news. Let's do business. Now, when we return, we have more regarding issues concerning journalists, because a suspect in the Ablikuma Central Collation Center shooting has been charged to appear before court this week. And we also have the latest on the Odododio shooting. Some 23 persons have been granted bail as well. Do stay with us. There's more coming up after business. George, what's in business?
Well, there's been argument about whether a slim majority in Parliament, if it goes for this ruling government, it will not benefit the economy and all the rest and all those things. Well, we have been hearing from an economist who think that it is rather going to benefit the economy in terms of protecting the public purse and ensuring that the necessary bills are scrutinized in the interest of the country. I'll be telling you more after this break. And also, government set to issue a new set of long-term borrowing instruments from next year, which includes a green and diaspora bond. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one stop shop for all your office equipment. And also First National Bank. We are the bank that understands your business. First National Bank. How can we help you?
What would you do with 50 gigabytes free data? Would you binge watch TV all day? Would you download FIFA 21? How about downloading your entire coursework? Or you do all at the same time? See, Surfline has a way of giving you value like no one does. 50 gigabytes free data when you get yourself a Surfline device. Now that's a sledgehammer. Don't miss out on anything. Get yourself a Surfline device today from any Surfline shop and get 50 gigabytes free data to do all you ever wanted on Ghana's only true 4G LTE network.
Surfline, it's about time. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, don't worry, Grandpa. There are still 5 ripe and 15 unripe mangoes on the tree.
That's my boy.
Grandpa, it's still 1.2 kilograms of rice in the container.
My boy. And how much credit did I spend last week?
Well, you spent 5 CDs on calls, 2 megabytes on data, and you sent 5 SMSs.
We are the first network that tells you exactly what you have spent and when you spent it. Dial *156# to access your statement on MTN. We are good together. We day for you everywhere you go.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kingdom Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom, and my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first point of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office, Osu Akwaje, or our office near the Osu Stadium. We're also in Tema Community 1, opposite Olam SHF, Kumasi KNUST campus, UCC Cape Coast, and now at the Marina Mall, Airport City. Or call us 0302 764101, 764209, or 762792. Visit our website www.kingdomgh.com.
We know it's important to create a productive and supportive working environment by investing in your employees' health. With a leading international track record, Apex Health Insurance is regulated and licensed by the National Health Insurance Authority to provide medical insurance services to institutional clients, families, and individuals. Apex Student Package and International Medical Solutions are all here to cushion you. Visit Apex Health Insurance Office at Zion House, Boundary Road, Shiashi, or call
0501 683 914
or 0232 000 015. In Kumasi, we are located opposite Prempe College, Sofo Line, and in Takrady, Apex Health, your preferred health insurer.
Put a twist on life with Voltic. Choose the new eco-friendly 500 ml Voltic bottle made with 7% less plastic. Enjoy and twist to recycle. Voltic, naturally. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
You're welcome back to Business on Newsnight. Economist Professor Bob Watson says he doesn't think that the possible slim majority in Parliament for government may affect the economy badly. This is coming on the back of warnings by rating agency Moody's about it affecting foreign direct investment, fiscal laws, and some ambitious policies that the government want to embark on. Professor Bob Watson says rather lead to more scrutiny of bills and policies that will be in the interest of the economy while protecting the public purse.
I think the closeness of the election as far as parliamentary election is concerned is going to give some kind of positives in terms of scrutinizing documents in Parliament and not rushing things through as it were. And I think it will be more like an advantage and a satellite and also as an institution that is supposed to oversee what executive is doing will be much upheld than what we have witnessed since 1993. And I think I see it as positive, however you look at it.
I mean, you're saying that it's rather good in terms of the scrutiny and all the rest. Do you foresee a situation where a government budget to be thrown away? That is where the problem is, and the signals you also send to investors outside and all those things. Or you don't foresee that?
That is what many people see. I have had opportunity to interact and work with Parliament. I realize that what we see on the screen and outside is not what happens in Parliament. I mean, I have been at a number of workshops with parliamentarians, and sometimes I wonder why people think that parliamentarians are always fighting. What I see in Parliament is about cooperation, collaboration, trying to get the best out of the situation and so on. It will come out as something that people may see as fighting, but behind the scene, a lot of lobbying, a lot of cooperation, collaboration, and so on. So that is the positive part of it that people don't see. And I don't think it's going to be acrimonious.
And that's the head of the Accounts Department at the University of Ghana, Legon, Professor William Boateng. Now, government is working to roll out a new set of long-term borrowing instruments that is from next year. This was contained in a notice requesting interest in terms of firms that want to act as transaction advisors for these papers. We have details in the following Business Text report.
According to the notice from the Ministry of Finance, apart from the $5 billion Eurobond that they plan raising next year, they also are looking at diaspora bonds and sustainable bonds. Under this, the government is looking at green bonds and social bonds, and also what the finance minister is describing as syndicated term loans, where the ministry may select some financial institutions to raise the required funds. The Minister of Finance in the said notice is asking institutions that have the grounds and experience to come on board to provide the necessary advice to help government raise the funds. While some of these fund-raising exercises can be described as a novelty, it begs the question, at what cost is government planning to raise these funds? That is, will the Finance Ministry be able to go out on the international market and raise all the targeted funds at a very competitive rate? Or it will be an expensive one? This, many argue, could go a long way to increase the country's total debt stock, which currently stands at 273.8 billion cedis, ending September this year, which represents about 71% of the total value of the economy. Some analysts have argued that this could soon push Ghana into the league of debt-distressed countries. For the first quarter of 2021, government is planning to set aside some 10 billion cedis as interest payments. The Finance Ministry has also argued that it is planning to use part of the funds raised to finance the deficit and also embark on some infrastructure projects.
And that was a Business Desk report. Now, construction activities have picked up strongly compared to pre-COVID-19 levels. Latest data from the Bank of Ghana shows a huge leap. The central bank uses the purchases of cement in the country to gauge the level of construction in the country. The data from the central bank showed that sales for the month of September ending hit a little over 350,000 compared to a little over 250,000 purchases in the last quarter of this year. Now, businesses are being urged to make brand decisiveness in technology their true marketing objective. According to the chief executive of branding firm PhD Ghana Biological, successful brands are built to transact beyond the marketing and selling of products by providing free services. He was speaking to Insurado on the Big Conversation segment on the Business Connect show.
It's not enough to be differentiated or to be different. It's important to be distinctive. So brands that stand out of the clutter do well because there's so much in every space now. There's a lot of democratization because of technology. And so one technology can be applied in so many ways and is so accessible that so many people can play in that space. So you are likely to be crowded out, especially if you're a small player. And so you want to think about, how can I stand out of the crowd? How do I not just be different from the other person, but stand out of the crowd? Distinctiveness is vital for your survival.
You can watch the full interview later tonight. That is Business Connect, which airs this and every Monday at 9 p.m. on the Joy Prime channel. To the stock market, if you're a shareholder of MTN, well, the value of its share held went up by £1 to close at 62 pesos at the end of trading. This was after some 13 million shares exchanged hands. And that's all for business on Newsnight. Back to you, Emefa.
Thank you very much, George. Enjoy the rest of your Monday evening, okay? Well, let's do sports now. Hans Mensando, comfortably seated, is ready with the latest from the world of sports.
And all of those terminologies. So, not entirely. Okay, right. Let's get to the sports then. And Ghana's Black Satellites will face Niger in the semi-finals of the ongoing WAFU Zone B Cup of Nations tournament in Benin tomorrow. According to head coach Abdul Karim Zito, there is pressure on his team to qualify to the finals. They seek to return to the FIFA Under-20 World Cup.
For now, we've already qualified. The expectation is now what we are waiting to gain out of at the end of the day, we've qualified. So we should expect to be, pressure is everywhere, especially with the players who have just tasted their first time in the tournament such as this. We are ready for the ultimate, and then we started well by winning. So now we are breathing the air of importance for qualifying to the semi-final, and that is where I would say the pressure to qualify will come. But
Abdul Karim Zito is the head coach of Ghana's Black Satellites, and interesting pairings in the round of 16 of the season's UEFA Champions League. Chelsea have been paired with Spanish side Atletico Madrid for the round of 16. Diego Simeone's side have got a strong pedigree in the Champions League and also domestically, and Chelsea boss Frank Lampard is not taking the tie lightly.
Most people will say it's the toughest draw that we could have had. When you go on probably current form, how they're doing in the Liga, European experience, quality of team and player. I think most people would say that. On the other hand, I think all draws are difficult in the Champions League. We have to have belief in ourselves, and when that game comes around, then you're going to have to try and beat these sort of teams if you're going to win the Champions League. And when you look at the batch of teams, when I talk about, as I say, I watched them knock Liverpool out last year, who are obviously a great team, and they had that experience and they had quality in their squad. So I think most people would say that they were certainly one of the toughest teams we could have drawn on paper. But we'll have to turn up and do our job and be confident that we can beat them.
That's Chelsea manager Frank Lampard speaking there, and of course you can look forward to all the ties in the round of 16 and beyond. Live commentary here on Joy 99.7 FM. That's your sports.
Thank you very much, Hans Mensah Ando. Now, before we went on the break for business and sports, we're talking about a journalist. Now we'll go on to another one, this time involved in the shooting in Ablekuma Central, and there's a development. A suspect in the shooting has been charged with the use of offensive weapon and causing harm. Collins Kwaku, also known as Kula 33, is currently on bail to appear before court later this week. So the police is currently studying the case docket detailing the shooting incident that led to Newswatch.com reporter Pius Kwening Esiedu suffering broken bones from the gunshot. Also, a GBC radio journalist, Doreen Ampofo, suffered a fall injury as she tried escaping gunfire and stones hurled at her by an attacker who mistook her to be an Electoral Commission official. Police prosecutor Inspector Eric Pobi tells Joy News the case is likely to be called in the course of the week.
Currently, even the docket is before me, so that if there's any changes or if there's any add-up that we need to do, then I'll advise the investigator to do so. The preliminary charges against the suspect use of offensive weapon and then causing harm. The suspect is Collins Kwaku. Collins Kwaku is 33 years. He was granted bail at the police station to appear before court. So, if there's no problem, everything is in order, I will just present it maybe tomorrow next, or any.
Meanwhile, editor of NewsWatchGH.com, Robert Delayao Maunyaga, indicates that Pius Kwening Esiedu is in stable condition after undergoing surgery at the Greater Accra Hospital Ridge. He adds that the police must ensure justice for him.
So Pius had two of his bones broken, fractured, as a result of the gunshot. The bullet went through his left leg and exited. And so you see from the x-ray that he has two broken bones. Doctors, he's currently on admission at Greater Accra Regional Hospital, where on last Friday, he was successful with surgery. And we understand that metallic equipment have been placed into his leg to support the healing process. So the surgery from the medical team shows that he was quite successful, and we are hoping and praying that he recovers fully. The family, the mother, the brothers, the sister, they have all been involved. It has been quite a devastating moment for them, that everything will be done to offer justice to Pius so that this issue doesn't die just like that, but it will be prosecuted to its logical conclusion.
Very unfortunate incident there. That's Robert Delayao Maunyaga, editor of NewsWatchGH.com. And the president of GG has been speaking, however.
Of course, he is hoping that justice will be served, and he's also urging media practitioners not to be intimidated over the attacks, whilst asking members to pursue the highest form of circumspection in their work.
In previous occasions, journalists were brutalized, but the number and the magnitude of injury are unprecedented. One of the perpetrators is facing justice, and we live in a dispensation of rule of law. And in the side dispensation, anybody who willfully finds himself or herself the wrong side of the law should be made to taste the biting edge of the law. So we expect a lot to bite hard on such perpetrators, and this to give us a ray of hope the laws work. Again, the word goes to all political actors not to bring or attempt to visit mayhem on journalists, because an attack on one journalist is an attack against all journalists.
So that's the president of the GJA, Afel Money, and of course the SIC has also come in to provide some insurance for those who have been affected by this. Let's go to Odododiodo.
And the Jabin Magistrate Court has granted bail to 28 NDC members who were arrested by the police during the elections. So the 28 are part of some 52 persons who were initially picked up together with a member of parliament for the constituency, Nilante Vanderpoy.
Research assistant to the MP, Sami Lai, who spoke on behalf of the party, said the 28 are innocent of the charges leveled against them, including rioting.
Today, we have been in court, and on the day of the election, I think 52 of our men who had come to the party's collation center to submit their pink sheets, and of course others who were there to submit to observe the process, were arrested by the police as a result of the unfortunate incident of shootings by known hoodlums of the NPP. But then unfortunately, our people rather got arrested. We managed to obtain bail for 48 of them, and then later 28 were arraigned before the courts today. That 28, by God's grace, have been granted.
No, 5 others have been charged with conspiracy to commit murder. Again, the party argues the men are innocent, claiming these are politically motivated actions to intimidate the NDC in the constituency.
To my amazement, I don't know who the fifth person is. You read a charge sheet and then they have mentioned 4 people and then one other. Who that other is, we don't know. But I can tell you on authority that those who have been charged with the murder, Pastor Otojo, was nowhere near the crime scene. I was with Pastor Otojo at the Electoral Commission's Collation Center. At a point, we were looking for the pink sheet. We are taking some of the pink sheet together with him to the electoral together with my vice chairman. We are taking the electoral our pink sheet to the Electoral Commission's Collation Center, and then he was called to bring the pink sheet. He went, and then the police had surrounded the place doing their swoop. Unfortunately, he was caught up in it. Who else? Wadada. Wadada all along was with those who were doing the collation at the top floor of Modak Hotel. It was not even at the ground floor. So there is no way he could have been involved in that act. Who else is there? Gogo was the driver of the vehicle that conveyed Pastor Otojo to the scene. And then one man who was also arraigned today. He also tells us that he was nowhere near. He has not fired any shot. He has not fired any gun. So we believe that what is going on is just a dubious attempt to intimidate us. In any case, if the police believe that we are the perpetrators of what happened on that fateful day, we ask ourselves, how could we have killed our own party agents?
And so, Emefa, that's the research assistant to the MP, Sami Lai, that's Nilante Vanderpoy, speaking on behalf of the NDC in the Odododiodo constituency.
Well, the Ghana Pentecostal and Charismatic Council have been commenting on the recent spate of protests and in some cases, some violence. So they are calling for calm by all Ghanaians in the current post-election agitations. It's a 4-point, call. And the first one says the right to peaceful demonstration by aggrieved parties to the electoral dispute must be upheld and protected by the security agencies, especially the Ghana Police Service, without any hindrances, while calling on the security agencies to remain professional and be measured in their responses to acts of indiscipline by demonstrators in these tense moments.
And the point 2 says, in the same vein, we wish to encourage the losing parties to strongly consider constitutional option of proceeding to the Supreme Court with all evidence they have gathered to seek a review of the decision of the EC. While at this, we also wish to appeal to the leadership of the losing parties to call on their supporters nationwide to be circumspect and responsible in the exercise of their rights to free expression and demonstration without the destruction of lives and properties, for we have only one nation to live in.
And to the victorious party, the council wishes to appeal to them to be measured in their celebrations in order not to provoke their opponents to violent retaliatory responses. That's a statement signed by the General Secretary, Reverend Emmanuel Bariga there. Now, we'll go on to arrive alive. At this point, it's very, very important to stay safe and arrive alive. The National Road Safety Authority says 44 people were killed through road traffic accidents during the 2020 electioneering season. Now, this is no different from the figure in 2016. It's also 44. But the only difference is that this time, the road crashes resulting from electioneering activity shot up by 55%. Yeah. So, David Osafo, that's too much. We can't do this to ourselves, especially during an electioneering period. And Christmas is also coming. David Osafo Adonting is Director of Planning and Programs.
What we are gathering from the police per the statistics, I think it's from the day of the voting, the 7th of December to the 10th of December. And we're gathering a number of crashes to 155, as against 100 in 2016. We are also gathering 44 deaths as against the same number in 2016. I think the number of injuries is one that we have seen some reduction. And so we see that comparatively our messages to the people, the general public, to motorists generally was good. But what we actually wanted it to happen very, very, very critically was the involvement of the political parties whom we engage, giving them the road safety code of ethics for them to comply with, leading the discussion among the rank and file of their membership. I think that some of the parties did it, some did not. We all saw the repercussions.
And of course, the road safety, the Arrive Alive campaign is brought to you by the Road Safety Authority and the
with
Joy
support
Safe
from Toyota Ghana and Logistics Movers and the Joy News Drive Safe campaign.
And Emefa, your favorite rapper, what's his name again?
Amrado. So we'll leave you in the safe hands of rapper Amrado. He's been rapping about his 27th episode. I'm told he has a number of episodes, and this time he's focusing on the summary of everything that happened before, during, and after the December polls. I am Emefa Apawu.
My name is Ernest.
And that's my opinion. Comes up next with Nanan Soko after this.
This week, election. Now, you get the sound of election. Parties are who do our contesting. Everybody was